Hey Google, play M83.
Playing M83 on Apple Music.
Hey, what's up, Hunter? Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. No, I love seeing your portraits. Are you still working on the one that you were doing the other day, or did you finish it? I forget the TikToker's name, the lady with the blonde hair. Are you still working on that one, Hunter? Come on, Hunter, man. Your stuff looks super realistic. You're just being nice. What kind of paper are you using now, Hunter? I think if you, I know Stonehenge is really good. I think if you find a fine graded paper versus a medium that has a more smooth surface. So, especially if you're doing portraits, the blending might come out a little better. But I mean, come on, for real. Look at the last couple of drawings that you've done. They've looked amazing. So I don't think there's any issues with your blending. I think you're just a perfectionist, probably. I saw that one, Hunter, on Instagram. What is that creator's name? Because I like her videos, but I can't remember her name. Hey, Queen. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys, gotta put my glasses on. All right, let's start blending in the skin tones. I appreciate that. So basically what I've done up to this point, I worked on this a decent amount last night, and then I just now went over this with a marker base. I'm using a rose for my marker base. And these are not super expensive markers, but I really like this flexible tip. It kind of bends and flows and lets you do flowy lines and curves, so I really like that. Alright, so we're going to start with our shadows and work our way to the highlights. It just depends. I mean, like the size. The last 2 pieces I've done have taken about 40 hours. So if you look on my profile and see my face with the plastic over it and the $50 bill with the passport, both of those took about 40 hours. I'm guesstimating this will probably be between 40 and 50 hours. I spent 6 or 7 hours just sketching out the lines and everything because of all the angles and measurements I had to do. And yes, I do some art. I don't know him, Hunter, but I saw you made some comments, and I think I've seen his art before. I think he does really realistic portraits, if I'm not mistaken. I think because didn't you comment on your story that he saw the drawing that you're working on? I do it all the time, Queen. Just because it's always there. So if I want to practice drawing hands or an eye or whatever, yeah. There's actually a funny video I did it a couple months ago. I for a hot minute I got into this idea or a mindset that I wanted to do a series of drawings about fairies, and I used a picture of me as a male fairy or sprite or whatever you want to call it, but that's on my profile somewhere. But the funny thing is, it's the guy is naked, but I promise I had clothes on when I did the reference photo. Hunter, do you right? Hunter, do you ever use the blending pencil? Or do you just use brushes or blending stumps when you're doing your blending? Hey, Eli, what's going on? Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Hey, Seattle Raised. I appreciate that. So, Hunter, we were talking a while back about getting a nice camera. So, I made the splurge a couple weeks ago and went and got a really nice camera from Best Buy, but I really haven't had the time to do any long YouTube videos yet. But that's the plan, is hopefully soon I'm going to start maybe posting some longer videos on YouTube. Thanks, Triple X Dope. I saw that. I haven't tried to access it yet, but I actually saw that feature last night when I was live, so I was pretty psyched about that. So that way I can always go back and see the comments that I miss. always amazes me how many colors you can put in a skin, and skin tone, or to get the actual depth of the skin. I mean, these are just a couple of the colors that I've used here, and that doesn't include the marker base or the browns and beiges that I've used for some of the shadows. What really helped me when I started doing skin with colored pencil is laying down that base color, and it's really scary. The hand that I did with the aluminum foil on the finger, if you guys are watching, if you haven't seen that drawing, check it out on my profile. Hunter, I know you've seen it. I used a really, really dark brown as my base color for that hand. So you would never believe it looking at the hand, but that really helps add depth. Even if the skin is a lighter color, if you have a darker base marker foundation, that's really going to give your skin some depth, and you can just add layers and layers on top of that to lighten it up. But I'll show you. I don't want to mess up the drawing I'm working on now. Let's see. So Hunter, this is the base color I used for that hand that I did with aluminum foil. So again, you wouldn't kind of believe it looking at it, but because it's so dark, but you just keep adding layers and layers and layers on top of it, and that's what really gives it that depth. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, that's my favorite watch I have in my collection right now. I'll tell you guys why I got this watch. I used to be really into watches, and I'm not really that much into them anymore, but this is why I got this watch. This symbol, and you guys can Google this, but this symbol is one of the oldest trademarked symbols in existence. And I can't remember if that's just in the watch industry or just general trademark symbols at all. But I just thought that was really cool. And that's what led me to buy this watch because, again, I'm an artist, I'm visual. So I really like the that symbol that Longines has. So that's why I ended up getting this watch. I've done tattoo designs for people. Like, people have asked me over the years, "Hey, can you draw this for me? I want to get it tattooed." But I've never actually tattooed myself. But I'm amazed at what I see in the tattoo arena in terms of what people can do these days in terms of how realistic the tattoos look. I keep telling myself I want to try tattooing, and I want to try airbrush, because over the years, again, so many people have asked me to if I would airbrush a design on a motorcycle or a car, and I've never done that. I would really like to try it, but it makes me really nervous thinking about doing something like that on a vehicle or a motorcycle that costs so much money. But I know it would just take practice, learning the technique. Yeah, Hunter, I see a lot of professional artists use the airbrush, and it does really help with the shadows. I like to challenge myself and try to draw the shadows without it, but if I had one, I'd probably use it. But someone made a comment the other day on one of my posts that I should get a projector, and that would save so much time when I'm doing the outline and sketches. What do you guys think about that? I kind of think that's like cheating, but I know it's not, because most of the work you're doing is laying in color and things like that. But I don't know. Yeah, I used to have a decent watch collection, but like I said, now I'm just not really into it that much. I still have one or two watches that I wear a lot. Well, actually, I have 3 or 4 that I wear a lot, but the one that I'm drawing now is probably the one that I wear the most. I have the Garmin watch and Fitbit for when I'm working out and running. I have a Hamilton watch, and I have this watch that someone who was in the military gave me, a G-Shock. Hey Sam, my wife is always on me about my fingernails, and if I'm not out in the yard working or doing yard work, I'm doing drawing, and I always have graphite or charcoal or colored pencil or something under my nails, and they always look dirty, and she always says something about them, but I always draw what I see, so it might turn some people off, but that's the way my fingernail looked when I took that photo. Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks, Bummy. So these areas now, again, I'm never sure of how this translates over the camera, because, there's some loss of quality because you guys can't really get really, really close and see. But everything that I've kind of worked on is a little rough, so it'll just be me adding layers and layers and blending until I get satisfied with the outcome. And if you guys see my phone shaking, that's just me trying to read through some of the comments. Caitlin, I don't do a lot of competing right now. That's just not what I'm into. But I won a national scholastic award when I was in high school. I've won lots of kind of state and local awards. I won a gold key for the state of North Carolina. But that was, when I was younger. Now I just kind of draw for me. I do have a big art show coming up next year, but haven't really entered a lot of contests recently. Mustang Levi, I appreciate that. Sam, this will probably be 40 to 50 hours. That's the estimate with this piece, but if you look on my profile, the picture of me with the plastic over my face was 40 hours, and there's a $50 bill with a passport that took 40 hours. Hunter, man, you have the connections. You had James Charles comment on one of your drawings, and you're friends with a lot of really good artists. The best way to describe my job is I'm like a computer analyst. That's the easiest way to describe it. But hopefully, depending on my financial situation, I'd love to be able to retire in about 6 years when I'm eligible to retire, and that way I can maybe become a full-time artist. What's last breath, Ruben? Sam, I'm 43. And everyone always says I look younger than I am. I look younger than I do, but I'm 43. Hunter, about 20 years almost. I'll be eligible to retire at 25 years, so I almost have 20 years in. So, but I would like to work for 5 or 6 more years. Thanks, Real Soul. Well, we'll see what happens, Sam. Life always has curveballs that they can throw in there with you, but that's the plan. So we'll see kind of what happens with my social media and all that stuff, and hopefully I can be in a position to do that. No, not really. I try to stay in decent shape. I run and do a lot of cardio and push-ups and things like that. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I haven't experienced any issues like that. I do. I have 3 kids, and my joke, my dad joke that I always tell everybody is that my wife had 3 kids in 3 different decades. So I have a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And my 21-year-old and 19-year-old are super, super talented, but their talents manifested in the form of music. So my son is self-taught guitarist. He also plays the piano. My daughter is an amazing violinist. So it's been a joy watching them grow in those areas over the years. Hello, I'm board one. Yeah, I'll look at your drawing. If you send me a message, if you comment on one of my posts and remind me, I'll look at it. But always know that the worth of your drawing, most of that worth should come from how you feel about the drawing. It's good to get critique and compliments from other people, but at the end of the day, if you're happy and if you're satisfied with that drawing, that's really what matters most. Well, Sam, sorta, kinda. We talked about it we talked it to death for about 5 or 6 years if we were going to have another one, and we actually thought that we weren't able to have any more, and then all of a sudden it happened. it's it's been a challenge, you know. My 21-year-old and my 19-year-old, I was in my early 20s, you know, when they were born. So I had a lot more energy and stamina. My 3-year-old is wide open, and she, you know, a lot of joy, but also very tired. You know, really, this is my only time to draw is on the weekends and late at night when everyone else is asleep. Hey, Elia. Yes, of course. What's going on? What are you working on? You said you were drawing something. Appreciate it, edits. How long are you going to be not drawing, Hunter? I'm sorry to hear that, Elia. How long has it been now since you've been home? And Sam, I use I've just got into color and pencil the last year and a half. Before that, I worked with graphite and oil paint for 20 plus years. So this is all new to me. Haven't had a ton of experience with ink. I have started using marker bases for my color pencil drawings. That's a long time, Elia. How are you able to draw? Do you like have your notebook and everything? Are you allowed to like have that, I guess, in the room where you are? I'm sure your followers will be excited for you to post something, Hunter. All my videos have flopped lately, but that's just the way TikTok is sometimes. Sometimes I'll post something that I have no idea that's going to go viral, and it will. And other times I think that I have something that's definitely going to go viral, and it gets like 500 views, so who knows. Thanks, Gravy Sandwich. I need, talking about art supplies, you know what I need? I need a desk organizer. I have plastic bins that I keep my oil paints in and things like that, my acrylic paints, but I need some type of desk organizer for all my colored pencils and markers and things like that. You know, even though I've been drawing and painting for, I've been drawing and painting for years, and you know, a lot of times people will look at my stuff and, oh, like, my God, you're amazing. There's always room to grow. So something that I've tried to challenge myself with recently is to enlarge my drawings. Now, when I do oil paintings, I usually work with big canvases and whatnot, but for about a year, when I first started posting on TikTok and Instagram, all my drawings were to scale. So if I drew a picture of my hands, it was the same size as my hands. So what I've tried to start doing this year is increasing the size of my drawings. And one thing that I have to constantly do is stop periodically and then stand back and look at my reference and see if it makes sense. Because when you enlarge and you're in the zone and you're in these areas, you know, working with all this detail and all the colors, you can get tunnel vision and miss the big picture, so to speak, because you have to constantly step back and you know, if you're working in this small area here, you might think, oh, that looks right, but when you step back, you might see a shadow that you didn't see when you were so focused here, or you might see a highlight that you didn't see when you were so focused here. So it's always good, at least for me, to step back every 30-45 minutes or so and just kind of look at it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about some different ideas of what I can do, Hunter, in my videos. A utility card that would be helpful with my desk area. Brown Cepha, you just gotta do it. I mean, the scariest part is just doing it, and then once you do it, you know that scary part's over. You should draw something and post it and just get it over with. See, when I step back, this area here needs to have just a hint more of this yellow ochre type color. And a little bit of peach. And then two, I just to show you guys again. So when I step back, that's kind of what I see, kind of that big picture view, so to speak, versus, you know, when you're all right here in the details. I just have to kind of step back and look at it. And it's crazy how much time you can spend on a piece. I mean, literally, this whole entire live, I've just been working on this. So I'm getting close to 20 hours already on this piece. So let's see. Someone asked, "Did you ever name the pig with the plastic over your face?" I have not. I'm really leaning towards 2020, but that's so defined. I like my titles to be universal. But I feel like 2020 is universal. It's such a crap year for everybody. But I have not made a firm decision on what I'm going to title that piece. Yeah, Sam Hunter's awesome. He's just really, I think, humble, and he's always complimenting other people. But he's a really good artist. And to be at such a young age. I mean, I was at. How old are you, Hunter? Are you 14, 15? I'm trying to think. I was 14. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't even know. I think you're even younger than me. I think I was 16 or 17 when I won my first state gold key in the Scholastic Art Competition for North Carolina. So that's you've achieved a crazy amount of realism at a young age. Looking through the COVID screen. I like that, Alaya. Well, the time always slips up on me, guys. It's 1:30, and I'm going to try to log in to work tomorrow at 8 o'clock, so I need to call it quits for tonight. I enjoy doing the lives, but I feel like I'm slow, so I appreciate you guys' patience. I appreciate you guys' comments. I don't even know where to go to next on this piece. There's so many different areas. I'm kind of working my way this way on the clock face. I'm procrastinating on these letters here because that's going to be really slow. I have to finish the rest of the letters here, so I'll probably be working on this piece for another 2 weeks. So check in frequently on my Instagram and TikTok, and I'll try to go live several more times this week. Thanks for the conversation, everybody. I'm out.